boys and girls, babies in your diapers. Welcome to the Tiberius Show with your host, Tiberius Hoy.
That's me, Tiberius. Today we're going to talk about some very awesome stuff. We have a cool video game about building a house, a great book about the Rocky Mountains, and today we have a totally awesome guest. Today we got the one, the only, the amazing Andy Tolbert. Andy's a movie firearms consultant, real estate investor, firearms instructor, and runs a business teaching self-defense.
I am so excited to be on the show today, and hopefully your listeners are going to get some good stuff out of it.
Today, we're going to start off with the video game of the week, and this is going to be a refab.
And now it's time for the video game of the week.
Today's video game is Home Tycoon. This is a game on the Roblox platform. It was made by Captured. This is a tycoon game, but with a twist. This is the first game for Captured. First off, I got into the game and it was kind of cool. And I went to my mailbox and there was $5 waiting for me. And I get it, and it offers me to purchase the foundation for $5. So I buy it and it increases my income by $1. Each time you buy something, it also upgrades your mailbox by $1 income. So the more you buy, the more you get at a time. What is really cool about this game is that you can build the house and you get the floor and wall and the furnitures. But the items, as they are built in front of you, like at the home design shows on TV. My dad says that takes a lot of work to make those animations. The graphics are awesome, and well, they just added cars. And so you can earn a car and then just drive around to see everyone's houses. They have a lot of upgrades that require real money. And I am not allowed to use real money for games, and it is annoying when there are too many items to buy that you cannot earn unless you use real money. I give Home Tycoon 6 out of 10 stars because at first I found that it was so hard to figure out how to get to the different places to upgrade. Each spot purchase opens up a new spot, but you have to find where to go.
You want to hear a secret?
What?
We build real houses that make us real income, and I don't spend my own money on those either. So I think your dad's pretty smart to say you can't spend your real money.
I didn't know that.
Maybe we'll chat about that today.
Over 40 years, Lighthouse Central Florida has provided education, independent life skills, and job training to thousands of Central Floridians who live with blindness or any degree of vision loss. Whether it's picking out clothes in the morning or just moving around your community and serving Orange, Seminole, and Osceola counties, contact Lighthouse Central Florida at 407-898-2483 or visit them online at lighthousecfl.org. The Tiberius Show would like to thank one of our dedicated sponsors, Custom Designs Orlando. These guys are on Mills Avenue and do all sorts of stuff, ranging from photo ID badges, engraved signs, custom Braille ADA signs, vinyl lettering, to trophies and awards. They can ship products all over the United States. You can reach them at 407-898-0373. And now it's time for the book of the week, Rocky Mountains. This book is written by Carol Marsh. Lever to the back of the book. In fact, Andy, did you want to do the honors?
I would love to, thank you. So, Mystery in the Rocky Mountains. When Christina, Grant, and their two friends join their mystery writing Mimi and Papa on a trip to the mile-high city of Denver, Colorado, they soon find themselves sleeping in a mysterious haunted palace of a hotel, deciphering mountains of clues to solve a mystery, reading tattered old books to solve the clues, traveling through tricky tunnels to get to a scary ski slope, meeting an amazing woman who once sailed on the Titanic. By the way, I've met a woman who was on the Titanic. She was a baby when it happened.
Wow.
But can the kids have fun, stay warm, and solve a mystery all at the same time? Strap on your skis and come along to see.
This is an book that is worth 3 full points and rated for 4th grade and 9th month. This is a great series about kids like us that are traveling to different places. And I got this book from my local library. So this story is about a group of kids that were supervised by Papa and Mimi. While traveling to Colorado, Papa has a pilot's license and they flew into Colorado. Once they arrived in Denver, they had to rent an SUV. On their adventure, which they got to watch a tuba concert, which could be heard from miles away. They even go skiing and eventually meet up and have lots of fun with their parents. The ending in the book is really cool, but I won't tell you any more than that. You have to read the book for yourself. I give this book 10 out of 10 stars because it was an amazing book, and I enjoyed the part about hearing the tuba concert from miles away. Who knew you could hear a tuba from so far away?
I didn't.
See David Smith Law.com.
You can call him at 407-801-2667.
Wait, you are not Chuck.
My dad can help when people get hurt. He loves to help people.
If you are ever injured at work or in a car accident, you should call my friend Chuck.
You can call him at 407-801-2667.
The website again is cwsmithlaw.com.
Offices, Orlando.
Does it actually have that much W's?
Mid-State Fire has been providing top-quality fire equipment services for 3 generations to the Central Florida area. Don't wait for an emergency to repair. Call Mid-State Fire today at 407-246-8855. Get your fire extinguishers and emergency lighting for both your home and businesses by visiting www.midstatefire.com. That number again is 407-246-8855. And now it's time for the interview of an interesting person. Today's class is going to be so much fun. Today we have the one, the only, the amazing Andy Tolbert. Andy is a movie firearms consultant, a real estate investor, firearms instructor, and runs a business about teaching self-defense.
I am so happy to be here. I am excited and I can't wait.
So first off, how are you enjoying being on the show?
I am having an awesome time. You guys have a great setup here, and you're so professional.
Thanks. So now my listeners can understand what exactly is a real estate investor do.
Well, they buy and sell or rent houses. So sometimes we buy a house, we fix it up, and then we resell it to somebody so they have a nice new house. Sometimes we keep them and we rent it out to a tenant and they pay us monthly rent to live there.
Okay. So you buy houses and then fix them up, but what if they are really messed up?
Well, it kind of depends on how messed up. Like if it's a sinkhole house, I don't mess with it because that's just way too much work. But anything else we can do. I bought a house once, well, it was a condo, and literally the only thing in the condo was a bathtub. Everything else had been torn out. So we had to replace everything in the whole place except the bathtub. I don't know why they left the bathtub, but they did.
That's funny. So what is the best part about investing in real estate?
The best part, I think, we help bring communities back up. So sometimes, have you ever driven through a neighborhood and you saw a house that was really ugly and in bad shape and icky and the grass was really high? And so what we do is we come in and we take those and we fix them and we clean it up. So we're actually helping to bring the neighborhood back up and make it a home that somebody really wants to live in. And I get to pick out all the fun colors. I get to pick out the flooring and all that stuff.
So what is the hardest part about investing in real estate?
The hardest part right now, honestly, is working with the repairman and the contractors because they tell you that they'll be there on a certain day, but then they don't show up. So then I have to chase them down. That's the frustrating part about investing, is you're relying on somebody else. And I like when people do what they say they're going to do. Do you like that?
Yeah, I like that.
Well, a lot of these workers don't do that, and that's frustrating to me.
Yes, sometimes it is very frustrating.
Very.
Now, your bio says you also work as a firearm instructor. Can you tell me more about that?
My husband and I are both firearms instructors. So when we teach a class, there's 2 of us teaching at all times. Yeah. So we have a lot of women that come to our classes because there's not a lot of female firearms instructors. So we have a lot of women that come to our classes. We have a lot of families. We do a lot of children's classes. as long as their parents are with them. And we're very hands-on and patient, and I think that's really a biggie, especially for new shooters. A lot of our students have never touched a firearm before in their life, so we're able to make it an enjoyable experience for them.
So what got you interested in teaching about firearms?
My family actually owned a gun store back when I was your age, so I grew up around firearms.
Wow.
And then around probably 12 or 13 years ago, I had never taken a real formal class. I had just learned from, family members. And then I took a real formal class so I could get my concealed carry license. And it was just such an eye-opening experience, so I became an instructor. So I've been teaching for 7-8 years now, I think.
Wow. So you also run a self-defense business, and can you tell me more about that?
Now, one of the biggest things with firearms is that should be your absolute last resort. One of the things we teach is that you should try everything else to stop a situation first. So we talk a lot about self-defense. We talk a lot about actually awareness. Wouldn't it be best if we didn't have to get in a fight at all? If we could see a fight was coming and just go the other way?
Yes.
So in our classes, that's a big part of what we teach, is how to tell if something bad is maybe about to happen, and then how to avoid that situation. But if you can't avoid the situation, then you need to be trained to get out of it, and that's where the self-defense comes in.
Okay. So what is the coolest part about teaching self-defense?
The coolest part, I think, is seeing the confidence level that people have after, an hour or so of class, and they've learned a couple of really cool moves, and they know they could get out of if somebody grabbed their wrist, if somebody was pulling on their hair, if somebody was choking them. As soon as they learn, and you can see their confidence level, and they're smiling and laughing, and they're like, what's next? I want to learn more. And you can see that their self-confidence is going up.
If you go back 10 years in terms or something, what would it be?
Buy more houses for sure. Because 10 years ago, we were at rock bottom here in the Orlando market and around the country. And you could buy houses so cheap back then. And I wish I had bought so many more.
So what advice would you give my listeners if they wanted to grow up and be a real estate investor?
I would say start learning about business skills in general, because real estate is a business. You still have to do bookkeeping. You still have to pay the bills. You still have to pay taxes. You have to pay your employees. You have to pay your contractors. So I would say still get a good education and understand basic business skills. And then I know there's a lot of teenagers that invest now with their parents. So you can, if your parents are into it, you can learn it as well with them. Ask them if you can go to a seminar with them. Ask them if you can go look at houses with them.
What is the worst thing that you have ever seen in a house before you fixed it up?
Well, the one that had only a bathtub was pretty bad. Oh, I know which one. There was a house here in Orlando, and the people that were living there didn't own it, and they weren't paying rent. So when they found out that the owner was selling the house and they had to move, they got kind of mad. And they had 3 big dogs, and for the last 2 weeks they lived there, they never let the dogs go outside to go to the bathroom. The dogs went inside the house for 2 whole weeks. And it was so gross. And my guys that I hired to go clean it up, 2 of them actually vomited on that in that house because it was so bad. And then the funny part is, a couple weeks into when we were fixing it up, the DEA, which is the government arm that searches for drug dealers and stuff, they showed up and started asking a bunch of questions. I guess the people that used to live there were drug dealers, and we found a safe down where the air conditioner was supposed to be. But the safe was empty. There's nothing in it.
Okay. So what do you enjoy doing more? Fixing houses, firearm training, or teaching self-defense?
That's a toughie. Right now I'm doing a lot of the firearms and self-defense because there's been a lot of things that have been happening in the world that people want to get training. So I love teaching the self-defense. The houses are, that's my business though. The houses are where we earn our income from. The self-defense and the firearms training is kind of more a an outreach mission that we do.
Okay, so what was your biggest mistake you ever made, and how did it change you as a person?
I don't know. That's a tough question. But I think that's why you're asking it, right? I think maybe one of the things is sometimes I don't think we think big enough. So think of the big picture. Don't think of just buying one house. Think of what if you could buy 10 houses? What if you could buy 20 houses? What if you could buy 30 houses? What if you could have 1,000 houses? So a lot of people, and when I say a lot of people, that includes me too, sometimes we think too small. We set our goals too small. And then when we meet them, we're not really stretching ourselves. Does that make sense?
Yes.
You got to make your goals nice, and you have to make your goals hard to achieve, and that makes you work harder for them. And sometimes I don't set my goals high enough, I think.
So when you're not running one of your businesses, what do you do for fun?
I like to play with my doggies. I have 2 dogs, and I love to snuggle with them on the sofa. And we have a boat, so sometimes we go out on the boat, and that's kind of nice and relaxing and peaceful. And then I drive a big old 4-wheel drive Jeep. So we like to go out with our friends in the woods and go on trail rides with our Jeep.
So do you play video games, and what's your favorite one?
On my TV, we have a Wii, but it's broken right now. I love playing Wii. That's a lot of fun. I like because it's motion activated, and that makes it extra fun. But right now, mine's broken. But I play Words with Friends on my phone. Do you play that?
No.
It's like Scrabble.
Yeah.
I play that with my mom and my sister and my husband. And my mom, sometimes she'll call me on the phone and she'll say, "It's your turn. You haven't played in a couple days. It's your turn."
Okay, so what is your favorite book to read?
I don't have a whole lot of time to read, but I love reading. So what I do is I listen to books on audio, on Audible and things like that. So when I'm in the car, a lot of times I'm listening to books.
Me.
Did you know I wrote a book?
No.
Isn't that awesome?
But I just saw it.
So this one is, I teach a lot of real estate agents how to stay safer. And this book is specifically written for real estate agents on how to stay safe while they're doing their job. Because real estate agents, you know what they do? They go meet complete strangers in houses that they don't even know.
Wow. Well, is there anything else you think my listeners should know about you?
Well, I don't have any kids. I went to the University of Florida. I'm a Gator fan. I'm a big Gator. Chomp chomp. Are we going to do? My dog's name is even Gator. I have a dog named Gator. Isn't that cute? No. The biggest thing is when I teach my safety classes, I talk about just being aware of your surroundings. So wherever you are, no matter what age you are, you can pay attention to your surroundings and know what's around you and see when something bad is maybe about to happen.
So my favorite firearm is a sniper rifle. What's your favorite firearm?
What I love to shoot is actually a Spikes Tactical AR-15. And it's made right here in Apopka, right up the street. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah, we have a manufacturer right here in Apopka. That's probably one of my favorites. The other one that's my favorite to shoot is I have an old .22 revolver that was made in the 1920s. So it's almost 100 years old. And when I'm teaching kids in a kids class, I teach them on that. Even though it's such an old gun, it still operates perfectly. It's almost 100 years old. Maybe we'll have a birthday party for it. What do you think?
Yeah.
So that's the gun I learned to shoot on when I was a kid. And when I became an instructor, that's the gun I got certified on too.
Oh, that's pretty cool. 100 years ago.
I wasn't around 100 years ago, but the gun was.
So do you have a website or Facebook for my listeners to want to follow you?
Yeah, if they're, well, it kind of depends on what they're interested in. It's easiest, I have a website called Safer Agent, which is also the name of the book, and I put a lot of safety tips and stuff on there. On Facebook, it's also Safer Agent. And then from there, if they want to reach out to me and have any questions or anything, then I'm easy to find.
So what's the one question that you think I forgot to ask you?
I think you've asked a lot. Let's see. You didn't ask me the airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow, but that's a whole different thing. And I think maybe you didn't ask me what's one secret about real estate investing that people don't know.
Well, what's that one question that is very secret about real estate investing?
Well, remember when you were reviewing the video game and you said that you need real money to buy some of the things to build your house?
Yeah.
And I said in real life you don't have to have real money, do you? Well, you do have to have real money, but it doesn't need to be yours. And that's the secret. A lot of times when we buy houses, I don't use any of my own money out of my pocket. I either use a partner's money or I borrow money from the bank. So I do all of that work, and then I have tenants that pay me rent every month, so I have income, but I don't have any of my own money into the deal. Isn't that cool?
Yeah, that would be pretty cool. Thank you, Andy, for being my special guest. Can you stick around for Math Corners?
Math isn't my strong point, but I'll stick around.
Aw, Dad, my computer's slow again and I can't play my games.
Call Your Computer Solutions today, and we will scan for viruses and clean that computer up remotely and make it fast again. Our phone number is 407-826-0810.
Thanks, Dad. My computer's fast again. Now I can do my homework. Thanks for calling Your Computer Solutions at 407-826-0810. The Tiberius Show would like to thank Boggy Creek Airboat Adventures for being one of our sponsors. I got to go on an airboat and saw a real gator. I even got to go to the gem mine and mine for some gems. We ate a steak dinner at the restaurant and even got some gator bites. If you want to have a blast with the entire family, I suggest you go to www.bcairboats.com right now to get your tickets today. The website again is bcairboats.com. Oak Ridge Gun Range is a family-oriented shooting range that has been in business for over 30 years. They specialize in basic firearm training and offer numerous services such as consignments, gun trades, gunsmithing, and concealed weapon classes. I even got my training for gun safety at Oak Ridge Gun Range. Great customer service, and firearm safety is what they do best. So find out more at oakridgegunrange.com.
Tiberius' favorite subject, it's Math Corners!
Thank you, Andy, for helping me with Math Corners. Well, a few weeks ago, we talked about compound interest, and we used the marshmallows to explain how interest works. But what about the other way around? Instead of earning interest, sometimes you have to pay interest. You gotta pay those dollars. This happens a lot when you want to invest or buy a house. Not everyone has $10,000 in the bank, but they may still want a $10,000 house. So they have to go to a lender or a bank and ask them for a loan. But no one is going to give you a loan just because you are nice. You have to pay them. How the lender makes money is the interest. So if you need to borrow $10,000 with a 10% interest, you would owe $11,000 by the end of the year. Well, not really. That would be correct if you only make one payment. But because if you pay a mortgage loan every month, the amount you owe is less. So you would determine the monthly amount each month. Part of that is the interest payment, and the rest is something called the principal. That reduces the amount of the loan. For this loan, we are talking about the payment, which would be $879.16 a month. Now, you can always pay it off early, but not everyone has $10,000 in their bedroom. So, after the first payment, you would owe $9,204, and $83 of it would be interest, and 796 of it would be the amount towards the principal. And because you are paying it monthly, you would only pay $10,550 instead of $11,000, saving you over $450.
Yeah.
So now you know how to get something which having to have all the money at once and to pay for it all monthly. Most parents have a mortgage payment for the house. You can ask them about it and to find out how much it goes to the principal and how much goes to the interest. The cool part is that you get to live in the house while you're still working on paying it off.
Yep. And every month their parents get a statement, and the statement's going to show them how much is principal and how much is interest that they paid.
Yep. So Andy, do you now know all about mortgages and interest?
Do you want to hear a secret? I used to own a mortgage company.
Well,
My husband still manages a mortgage company, so I know all about mortgages and interest. Because remember I told you I've got all those rental properties and I've got all those tenants that pay me rent every month? I have to pay mortgage payments on all of those every month, too.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, now I get it. Well, thank you so much, Andy, for your help with Math Corners.
Oh, anytime.
And now it's time for the Heart of a Lion. As you know, we talk about the qualities of living by the Heart of a Lion, which stands for leadership, integrity, obedience, and nobility. This week, we're going to talk about obedience. For me, I think obedience is being fully committed to doing what is pleasing to God. The qualities of obedience are compliance with a good attitude and respect for the laws. You know when someone is obedient when they follow instructions willingly and thoroughly. So this week, I learned that I need to work better at obedience. My dad provides me instructions sometimes, and I want to know why. Sometimes he tells me to go into a room and sit while he's working on a computer. And I get bored. Later, when he told me he was working on something electrical and needed to know for sure I was safely away from where he was working. Also, during COVID-19 issue, it is important that I listen to where my dad wants me. This helps him know where I am, so that he can keep me away from people when I do not have my mask on. I am going to work on listening more and following directions first, and to ask to know why later. Andy, did you see or use obedience at all this week?
Yes, absolutely. When we are teaching our firearms classes, Tim and I are instructing the students on how to safely handle the firearm. Because if they don't listen to us and they do something wrong, could that be dangerous?
That is true.
So it's very, very, very important that the students are obedient when we're giving them instructions at the gun range, because it could be a safety issue both for us and for them if they're not.
Above the Heart of a Lion virtues, which is your favorite?
Leadership, integrity, obedience, nobility. I think, especially in the business world, that it's integrity, because a lot of people in business don't do what they say they're going to do. So they make you a promise. They say they'll be there at a certain day. They say they'll show up at a certain time. And then when they don't show up, it causes a lot of other issues.
Yep.
So I think in business, integrity is important. And integrity is also your reputation for doing what you say you're going to do. And that way people know that you're a good person to work with and they'll want to work with you again.
And we should always try and be lion strong in everything we do.
Absolutely. I like that.
And that's our show, folks. I want to say the one, the only, the amazing Andy Tolbert for being my special guest this week. It has been so much fun talking with you today, and maybe one day we can go shooting together at the range.
Sounds like a plan. And if any of your listeners want to find me, you can find me at andytolbert.com, or on Facebook, I am Andy Werger Tolbert. Super easy to find.
And be sure to listen to us next week on the Tiberius Show with your host, Tiberius Boy!
The Tiberius Show is not filmed in front of a live studio audience. Executive producer, Joseph Boyd. Production editor, Pierre Laguerre. Green Room manager, Danny Boyd. And your program host, Tiberius Boy! The Tiberius Show is copyright 2018.